At first glance, it appeared to be just another rock. But as scientists conducted their analyses, odd patterns began to surface. Its speed was astonishing, its trajectory unnaturally precise, and its reflective qualities were unusually sharp. Tracing its path led to a chilling conclusion: it was heading directly toward the inner solar system. For decades, we regarded space as silent and largely empty. Now, something from the vastness of interstellar space was racing through our cosmic neighborhood, and the James Webb Space Telescope focused its gaze on it. The findings were far stranger than expected. Some started to ponder the unsettling idea: could this object be observing us in return? Initially detected between June 25 and 29, the object received the official designation of 3.2 Atlas. It appeared on the radar of Atlas, a high-speed sky survey system meant to track potentially dangerous objects. However, this was no ordinary asteroid. Its speed topped 152,000 miles per hour, and its trajectory did not align with known paths of comets or inner solar system wanderers. Reverse simulations traced its origin not to the Oort cloud or Neptune, but to interstellar space, possibly the very core of our galaxy. This was not a fragment of our solar system. It had journeyed through darkness for tens of thousands of years, unnoticed until now, encroaching upon our realm. Yet, the deeper enigma was not merely its origin, but the timing of its arrival. Prior to 2017, no interstellar objects had been identified. Since then, 3 have emerged, each stranger than the last. Scientists scrambled for observation time on the James Webb Space Telescope, which was designed to look farther and deeper than any previous instruments. Webb now directed its remarkable sensors toward this unsettling object. The brightness of Atlas did not correspond to its apparent size. Based on the reflected light, it should have been colossal, but measurements indicated a smaller size, with a surface unlike typical rock or ice. It shone like a cold, highly reflective metal, possibly hollow. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who previously suggested that Oumuamua might have had artificial origins, urged his colleagues to examine non-gravitational acceleration, subtle motion deviations that couldn't be explained solely by the sun's influence. If such deviations exist, it may imply that the object isn't just drifting, it could be navigating. If so, this wouldn't be a mere rock, it would be making intentional decisions. To grasp the implications, we must recall the 2 prior interstellar visitors before Atlas. In 2017, Oumuamua astonished the world with its elongated shape, lack of a cometary tail, and unexplained acceleration despite no visible signs of propulsion. Then, in 2019, Borisov appeared, a comet, yes, but faster and more volatile than its predecessors. Each raised more questions than answers. However, Atlas is unique. It combines the inexplicable brightness of Oumuamua with the precise trajectory of Borisov. It eludes classification. Neither comet nor asteroid fits. Some scientists are now contemplating a radical notion: these may not be mere anomalies. They could represent a series of deliberate contacts disguised as coincidences. Amidst the data, simulations, and observation logs lies a question that few bravely voice. What if this object is not a natural phenomenon? When brightness is excessive, motion is remarkably precise, and acceleration seems independent of gravity, one explanation stands out: artificiality. Not in the Hollywood sense of aliens, but as engineered probes, autonomous messengers dispatched long ago from distant realms. Loeb theorizes that humanity may have overlooked the message in Oumuamua, and Atlas could be a renewed opportunity. Its unusual surface, abnormal speed, and timing suggest deliberate design. Webb will continue monitoring its thermal signature, spin, and path, but the more profound question shifts from what it is to who sent it. In a universe 13.8 billion years old, the most unsettling revelation wouldn't be our isolation. It would be that we have been observed all along, only now realizing it. As time progressed, data from Webb and ground-based observatories began to reveal a troubling pattern. Atlas was exhibiting slight acceleration that solar radiation or outgassing couldn't account for. It lacked a tail, particles, or emissions, yet its trajectory shifted with remarkable precision. Webb's infrared sensors captured a faint but steady thermal signature, stable, patterned, and directed, unlike the chaos of a natural ice body. This anomaly echoed Oumuamua's unexplained acceleration, yet this time it was undeniable. It was measured, tracked, and the implications stirred unease, for acceleration without a force indicated some form of control. Scientists began to quietly speculate in memos what they couldn't openly discuss. We might not just be observing this object. We might also be under observation. With Webb's instruments focused, a comprehensive spectral analysis uncovered even more remarkable details. Expectations for silicates, iron, or ice fell away. Specific absorption lines indicated complex carbon structures, materials that suggested engineering rather than natural geology. Its reflectivity was unusually high, and its rotation hinted at symmetry, something seldom observed in random cosmic debris. For the first time, humanity faced the prospect that this object might not merely be unusual, it could be manufactured. One side of the object absorbed more heat than the other, as if by design. Fluctuations in electromagnetic readings hinted at internal structure, cavities, layers, or variations in density. Whatever this was, it didn't behave like any typical rock. And if it isn't a rock, then what could it be? That question echoed from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory to the European Southern Observatory and even into classified corridors of national defense agencies. Because if nature didn't create this, someone, or something, did. As the public fascination grew, a different kind of silence began to settle in. Agencies that had initially shared trajectory data and brightness readings, NASA, ESA, ISRO, suddenly went quiet. Mission updates stopped, observational schedules disappeared, and requests for raw James Webb data were denied under internal review. Freedom of information requests returned heavily redacted files, while whispers leaked from inside observatories. Researchers were reassigned, specialists pulled from teams, access to telescope feeds restricted. The public, once fed a narrative of curiosity, now faced closed doors. Why the sudden secrecy? Astrophysicists began to suspect they were dealing with something extraordinary, something so unprecedented that governments were scrambling not just to understand it, but to control how much of it was revealed. Once a discovery crosses certain thresholds, challenging physics, technology, or belief, it no longer remains solely a scientific question. It becomes a matter of oversight, of control. In space, control is exercised as much through silence as it is through signals. As Atlas drifted silently through the solar system, a sobering realization began to take hold. This was no longer just another data point. It was an inflection point, a moment forcing centuries of assumptions about the cosmos, solitude, and humanity's place in the universe into question. If the object was artificial, it must have originated from a civilization far older than ours, capable of building something that could survive millennia in the void of space, and perhaps one that never needed to communicate directly because its very presence was the message. If it wasn't artificial, then it was a natural phenomenon so rare and advanced that it mimicked design to perfection. Either way, the lesson was the same. Our understanding of the universe is incomplete, and James Webb had held up a mirror to that ignorance. For the first time, humanity was no longer peering into empty space. The void was staring back, and what it saw might be far more significant than we realized. Among the scientific community, a deeper, more unsettling idea began to circulate, not in journals or conferences, but in encrypted emails and whispered conversations. What if this interstellar visitor wasn't meant to be discovered by chance? What if its arrival, the timing of our technological advancement, and the precise orientation of the James Webb Telescope were all variables in a cosmic test? Perhaps it was waiting for a civilization capable of noticing, signaling. You are now ready. Show us what you can do. For billions of years, there had been silence, no signals, no messages, no clear visitors. And now, as humanity advanced in artificial intelligence, quantum physics, and interplanetary exploration, something quiet and precise had appeared, seemingly designed to capture our attention. Could it be that, for the first time, we were not just observers but the observed? That our reactions, our fears, our science, and even our hesitation were now part of something larger? The scariest possibility wasn't what we had found. It was that we had always been in someone else's sight. The James Webb Space Telescope was built to look outward, to map the origins of stars and galaxies, to unravel cosmic history. Instead, it had revealed something here, now, possibly watching back. Not on the edge of the universe, but passing through our own cosmic doorway. An object too perfect to be random, too silent to be ordinary, and too timely to be coincidence. We sought answers, but what we found was a mirror. A gliding enigma reflecting not just infrared light, but humanity's deepest uncertainties. Are we alone? Have we ever been? Or have we simply lacked the ability to perceive what has always been passing by? James Webb had uncovered more than a celestial body. It had unveiled a new language of the cosmos, one we may not yet have words for: artificial or natural, intelligent or accidental. We have entered a new era of cosmic awareness, where telescopes do more than observe stars. They expose how much we do not yet know, and perhaps how much someone else already does. This was no warning light. It was a test pattern. And now the question is no longer whether we will find something out there, it's whether something has already found us. If this revelation has unsettled you, if it made you reconsider the universe and your place in it, don't turn away. Subscribe, because this channel tracks the signals others overlook. Turn on notifications, because the next visitor may not simply pass us by. Share this with someone who still believes the cosmos is empty. And comment. What do you think 3-2 Atlas really is? Natural, or something far more extraordinary?